Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be making this beautiful lovely dress, and I took you guys along throughout the process of this dress. I hope you do like this video. Please do make sure to give this video a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. Let's get into the video. Okay, starting with our front pattern piece. I already drafted a different video for the neckline, which is the turtleneck neckline. So I have a different video for that. Go and check it out. It should be up by now. So moving on to the front, on our nipple to nipple points, we're going to be marking 4 inches on our bust line, under bust and waistline. So that's our nipple to nipple points, right? And now on the waistline we are going to be marking 1 inch on both sides. First I wanted to use half inch, but I decided thereafter to put 1 inch on both sides. Okay, so now we are also going to be placing 1 inch on both sides for the under bust also. Now I'm going to use my ruler and connect those 3 dots together, and then connect the under bust and waistline dots on both sides. And I'm going to use my curved ruler and connect the bust point to the under bust like so. So right here I'm just going to label my lines so that you can know what line is which. So we have the chest line, bust line, under bust line and the waist line. Now on our bust line we are going to be coming down by 1.5 inch. Okay, so we are coming down by 1.5 inch, and I'm just going to connect that dot to my bust point. Okay, now that 1.5 inch that we took on the bust line, we are going to be replacing it on our waistline or below our waistline. So below our waistline we are going to be marking 1.5 inch, and then we'll be connecting that to the waistline. So I'm placing 1.5 inch, and we're going to be connecting that to the waistline. Like so. Now we are going to go ahead and add our body measurements. Okay, now for my bust I'm marking 9.5, and then I'm going to be adding 1 inch sewing allowance. For my bust line I'm also going to be marking 9.5 plus 1 inch sewing allowance. For my under bust I have my under bust measurement plus 2 inches, which is for the waist dart. So those 2 inches we have there, and then 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, now for our waistline we are also going to have your waistline measurement plus a 2 inch for the dart and 1 inch sewing allowance. Okay, now I'm just going to connect those dots we've made now. So you're connecting it straight towards, like after the waistline, to that angle that we have, right, to the side dart that we took earlier. Now I'm going to place my tape on my side dart there, because our body measurement was a little bit inwards on the 1.5 inch. So you're going to make sure that the 2 dart line matches and mine match, so we are good. Okay, now for our armhole, for our front armhole, I have 7.5 here, so I'm just going to be marking half of 7.5, and then I'll go inwards by 1 inch. Okay, so now I'm just going to be placing 1 inch on that point, and then I'm just going to use my curved ruler and connect from my shoulder point to that 1 inch. I later on went ahead to mark my shoulder point and made it 1 inch instead, so it aligns with the 1 inch we have at the midpoint of my armhole. So you are seeing me here correcting it, and then I'll use my tape to show you guys that it is 1 inch that we have there. Okay, so it's 1 inch we have there. So that is our front armhole. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out my front piece. Now I'm just going to tape the sides. That's the side bust that. Okay, and that is what we have for our front piece. Moving on to our back piece. On our shoulder slope, we'll be coming down by 1 inch. On our back neckline, we have 3 inches, and then we're going down by 1 inch. If you want the full tutorial on how to make the turtleneck, I have a video of that. It's already up on my channel, so please do make sure to go and watch it. Okay, so I'm just going to roll that. Okay, now I'm just going to connect my shoulder slope to my neck line. Okay, so on our bust line, I'm going to be marking 4 inches. I also mark 4 inches on my chest line and 4 inches on my waist line. Now I'm going to be marking ½ inch on both sides. Okay, now I'm going to connect the 3 dots from the chest line, bust line, and waist line. Okay, and now from the waistline, I'm going to angle my ruler to my chest line, and that is for our back waist dart. Okay, for the back armhole, I'm just placing my front pattern piece at the back so that the both shoulder they match. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing right there, so that's easy peasy. And then I'm just going to be connecting that to form my back armhole. Next, we are going to go ahead and add our body measurements. Okay, so now on the chest line, I'm going to be placing my bust measurement with 1 inch sewing allowance, and for my bust line, I'm going to be adding my bust measurements, 1 inch sewing allowance, and then the darts that we have from the waist dart. So I added about ½ inch. On my waistline measurements, 1 inch sewing allowance and 1 inch for the darts. Please don't forget that. Okay, and now I'm connecting those 3 dots together. Now I'm going to go ahead and take in ½ inch on my center waist line. Okay, and that is for the back or the inner back, the back curve of your dress, right? So our back is not straight, so the back is curved. So I just took in ½ inch and then I connected it to my chest line. Okay, you can decide to do this when you are sewing your zip. Some people do it that way, some people take out the allowance while drafting, so whichever one works for you. Sometimes I take it while fixing my zip, sometimes I take it on my pattern paper, so whichever one works for you is fine. So now we're just going to cut out the pattern piece. So right here is our back and front pattern piece. This is what they are looking like. So this is what the front pattern piece is looking like, and this is what the back pattern piece is looking like. Now I've gone ahead to cut on my fabric, and this is what is looking like on my fabric, right? Don't forget your ½ inch around your waist dart for your front piece, okay? Moving on to my skirt length, okay? For the skirt length, we have 15.5 inches as the length of the skirt, and I'm just going to already ruled my line with my chalk on 15.5 inches, okay? Now we are going to go ahead and mark our waist measurement. So we are not making use of any dart, so waist measurement plus 1 inch sewing allowance, that's what we are placing. Now I'm going to be marking 10 inches for my hip, right? I'm marking 10 inches because of allowance at the top of the skirt, so roughly 9.5. So on the hip line, I'm adding my hip measurement plus 1 inch sewing allowance, okay? And now I'm just going to connect those dots together, connect them together. Now whatever mark we have on our hips, we are going to be minusing 1 inch and placing it at the hem of the skirt, okay? So if you had 12 inch for your skirt, you'll be marking 11 inches for the hem of the skirt, okay? Now I'm just going to be connecting those dots together, and then we'll go ahead and cut. Now to cut the back piece of the skirt, the back of the skirt, remember we're going to have our zipper allowance, which is 1 inch. So I'm just placing in my zipper allowance, and then once you've gotten that, you're now going to go ahead and pin your fabric down and then cut out your back skirt, okay? Now for the skirt curve, right, we're going to move on into the skirt curve. I'm going to place my tape at the hem of the skirt, at the center hem of the skirt, and then we're going to be marking 5.5, okay? So we're marking 5.5, and then we're going to go ahead and connect it to the end of the skirt. You can see my finger is pointing, right? I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. So you're going to get your curved ruler and your chalk, okay? And then you're going to connect from that mark to the end of your skirt right there, okay? So now we have the nice curve. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut and mark ½ an inch above that curve. So in total we have a 5.5 length, right? So we are cutting out half. We're cutting out 5 inch, and then half is for our sewing allowance. So in total we are going to be taking out 5.5 in general. But with your scissors now, we are going to be taking 5 inch. ½ inch is for your sewing allowance. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors. I'm showing you guys again, and cut it out, okay? So this is what we have now. So cut out the curve. So that's what the design is looking like, nice and pretty. So now I already joined my front piece and back piece, and I also covered the waist dart for both the front and the back. So I'm just showing you, it's looking all nice and neat. Now moving to the skirt, I joined the front and the back piece together. This is what it's looking like. Now we are going to be joining the top and the skirt together. Okay, so we are going to be joining them right sides facing each other, and you're just going to go ahead and sew. So at this point of the project, this is what our dress is looking like. I've gone ahead to fix my turtleneck line. Remember, I have a video on that. Go watch it. It's very, very helpful and simple. So this is where we are right now with the dress. We've not added the Ankara piece yet, and this is the back. So I'm just showing you guys what it's looking like, so you can have a vision of where it is right now. So I decided not to close the zip yet because I wanted to add the Ankara, right? So after adding the Ankara, I'll be closing up the zip. Please take note of that. I didn't leave the zip open like that. Now, for the Ankara piece, my Ankara fabric, the normal length of an Ankara fabric is 45 inches, right? You fold your fabric into two. I used 2 yards of fabric for this project. Fold your fabric into two, so we have 22 point something, 22 point something, right? 22.2.5, something like that. And then you join those two pieces together and you go ahead and gather them. That is what I did for my Ankara fabric. I mistakenly deleted the clip I used to show you guys how I cut it. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to be placing my gathered piece at the hem of my skirt, right, to make a longer skirt. Okay, so now you're just going to sew it like that, JJ. You're going to be sewing it like that, JJ, to the end. Okay, now for the decorative piece we have at the top of our dress between the crepe and the Ankara, we measure 2 inches here, so it means that I cut 2.5 inch. I didn't cut any particular length, so I just cut whatever length of fabric I had left. Okay, so you can do up, I would advise you to cut very, very long so that your gather piece can be very, very fluffy and beautiful. Okay, so the way I'm folding it here is not the way I initially folded it. So what I did was I just took it to my sewing machine and then I gathered it. So I was sewing the gather stitch at the center of this rectangle tape or whatever, I don't know what to call it. So that's what I did. Okay, so I'll show you in a bit what exactly it looks like. So this is the dress with the Ankara piece added, looking scrumptious, looking beautiful. And now we're going to be adding to this beauty. Okay, I can't get over this dress. This dress is just so beautiful. I'm loving every bit of it. So now we are going to be taking this rectangular strap that we cut right earlier. So I decided to gather it, but then when I was rushing up the gathers, my gather snapped. So I just decided I'll show you guys like that and then go ahead and gather it later on. So this is what you are going to be doing. You can see the way I'm placing it, right? You're going to be placing it like that round the joining of your crepe to your Ankara piece. So you're going to be doing that all round. I'll come back and show you guys the final piece, how beautiful it looked. Okay, and before we join the strap that we want to use to decorate the top of this dress, I'm going to be joining my crepe. So we're closing up the zip line. Okay, so I'm just going to sew that with the 1 inch allowance I had earlier on. Okay, so I'm just going to be sewing that to the hem of the Ankara piece. So this is what we have here with the gathers. Look at how fine this thing is. Oh fine, it's so beautiful. I'm loving it. It's so pretty, so elegant, so God, I can't get over it. I can't get over it. So this is what the final look is. Oh God, I can't get over this look. Please guys, do make sure to subscribe, like and share, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.